Speaking about the toolbar in Tableau, we have these many options in our toolbar, and we are going to discuss about each and every button in the toolbar menu. So the first icon you see over here, this is a Tableau icon, and this will navigate you to the starting page, to the data source page. And next button you see are the undo and redo buttons. Undo button reverses the most recent action that you have done to your workbook, and you can undo an unlimited number of times back to the last time you open your workbook. And redo does the same, but it repeats the last action you reversed with the undo, and whatever work you have done for and made an undo option, and if you want to come back you can redo it, and you can redo it up to the last time. So next one is the save button. Save button comes with a Tableau desktop option, and this button is used to save all your work on your local machine. Next one is for the data source, and we see a plus icon and a pause icon in the data source symbol. The cylindrical icon represents a data source, and we have plus and pause icons over here. And in this Tableau desktop, it opens a connect pane where you can create your new data connection, or you can actually open a saved connection. In the Tableau server or Tableau online, it opens a connect to a data source page. And this one, the pause button, is actually whenever you have too many changes on your view, like you are adding so many filters onto the view. Every time you add a filter, it runs a query at the backend, and all the data at the backend will be queried. So in this case, you can actually pause the refresh, whatever the query is running at the backend, you can pause it, add all the actions, whatever you're doing to the view, and then click on play. So all the actions are run in a single query, and your updates are visible on the view. If you have a large set of data, this might make sense because you want to pause the data source refresh, and you want to make all the changes, then you want to click the play button. Next icon is the refresh icon. Refresh icon is used to refresh the data in your data source whenever there are updates at the backend. If your automatic update is switched off, and you can manually refresh the data source by clicking on this refresh icon, and it will refresh all the data and produce the recent data updates into your views. Next icon is a new worksheet. This one will add a new worksheet into your view, and you can use the drop down menu to create a new worksheet or a new dashboard or a new story. The next one is a duplicate icon. This one will actually duplicate the content of whatever view you're staying on. By clicking on the duplicate, it will add one more sheet with the same name, but it will give a number after that, and it will duplicate the same content. It is used when in cases you're working with a table and you also want the table to be displayed in visual format. You can duplicate the table to one more sheet. In the other sheet, you can make all the changes to a visual. Next icon is the clear icon. This actually clears all the content in your current worksheet, and using this drop down menu you can specify the parts you want to clear, such as filters, formatting, sizing and access, etc. But if you want to clear the entire worksheet, just click on this button and it will make it clear for you. Next is the swap icon. As the symbol specifies, the arrows point out to rows and columns. This button swaps whatever you have in rows to columns and vice versa. And next to that is a sorting icon, and this sorting icon is actually in ascending format and descending format. The first one is the ascending format and the second one is the descending format. Whenever you want to sort your bar graph or sort your text table based upon the highest or the lowest, you can actually click on these icons to sort the data into the view. This icon is the highlight icon. Highlight icon actually highlights the special values for view. When multiple dimensions are selected, you can use this drop down menu to specify whether to group on a specific dimensions or across all dimensions. You can click on this highlight icon to quickly highlight some data. You can group some of your variables in one particular column by clicking on this group icon. Clicking on this group icon will give you more options to what to group and what to separate. You can rename them in there, and this is more useful in grouping if you have let's say the take an example of a location. Let's say you have United States and also you have US. You want to group them both into one particular variable. You can do it by clicking on this. The next icon is the text show mark labels icon. You can actually switch on the labels or hide the mark labels by clicking on this icon. And next one is fixed access. This pin over here is called fixed access. This one actually locks the access for you to show a specific range, or if you want to show the dynamic, you can actually uncheck that pin mark. So this one is as a standard option you get in Tableau. This is particular to the view you're building, and if you want to show a standard size, you can show the standard size, but it has options for fit width with length and in the entire view. We will see these options whenever we're working on Tableau. So this option is show or hide cards. If you want to hide or show a specific card on the worksheet, you can actually select this one. You can, in the Tableau server or online, you can show or hide cards for the title, caption, filter, etc. This is a presentation icon. If you want to present your entire dashboard to some advisors or some end users, you can click on this icon. It works like a PPT and you can click on your screen to move it on to the next slide. The next one is the share icon. You can share your dashboards onto the Tableau server or Tableau online by clicking on this icon. To share this dashboard to a particular server, you need to have an account on the server. In the case of a company, it would be a Tableau server, but if you are sharing the dashboard to the public, and if you have a own account on Tableau Public, you can share the dashboard from here. This is all about the toolbar and options we have. And next we have an option for the left side pane and also the rows and columns in the view. This is the data and analytics pane. We have already discussed about this data and analytics pane, and data pane is seen right here. And under the data and analytics pane, we have a data source pane. In this where we will see the data sources connected onto our Tableau desktop, and this is called the sidebar. This sidebar contains all the data sources you have connected, and you can see all the columns coming up in the below. This one is actually called as shelves or carts and shelves, and you can see the rows and columns over here. Whatever you drag onto the view will be adjusted into the rows and columns, and you can see the view over here. This is the view you will be building up. And you can see your workbook name over in here, like whatever you name it right to the dashboard, it will come over here. Right now I didn't name the workbook anything, so it is coming as book 1, but if you name to something else like the sales dashboard or something, it will show up over here. Moving on to our next topic, we have analytics pane, and you can see the analytics pane after the data pane. This is a drag and drop page. It has all the reference lines, box plots, trend lines, forecasts, and other items. You can simply drag whatever line you need onto your analytics page. This one builds up some statistical programs at the back end. You don't need to write everything. Tableau will defaultly have the program at the back end, and if you just drag that line onto your page, that will calculate that line according to your data and give the lines to you. So forecast, it is used to also forecast the trends and cluster paths on your data based upon the dimensions available on the view. To add this analytics onto your view, you just have to drag and drop the items onto the view page like this. Like if you just drag the median with quartiles onto the view page, it will show what are the possible items you can do with that line. It will ask you what are the possibilities. You can drag it onto your table, you can drag it onto your pane, or you can drag it according to your cell. So what option you will be selected will be displayed according to the table, pane, and cell. So this line is actually calculated, right? This in our view we have order date and profit divided by sales, and that one will be calculated according to the dimensions and measures we have, and it will throw a line according to the options you selected over here. It can be a table, it can be a pane, or a cell. So next we will see everything on the Tableau app. So continuing where we left in the previous page, to look at the toolbar first, whenever you click on the sheet, you will be moved back to this option. Like you will see this page into the sheet where you see the toolbar first, and you have this data pane to the left. And we discussed about the buttons. We have it over here and how do they work. Let's practice some of them and see how they works. And I'm just clicking on the Tableau icon to show the start page and how it works. Let's see, it actually went to the start page. So you can add any new data sources to your view from other Excel files or the other data sources by clicking on this icon. But if you just click back on the icon, it will take back to your sheet page. This is the same thing what we do in the data source also. If you just click on the data source, it will take you to the data source page, and you can also add the whatever data sources you want from here. But what is the difference between clicking on here and clicking on here is you will be adding the sheets or the new tables from the existing data sources you have connected, because moving to the data sources here, Tableau will recognize this one, whatever you connected on, and it will actually throw back to the data source. Clicking on this is like going back to your start page and connecting to your new data source which is not already connected. So if I add something onto my view and I just don't want to do that, and if I want to undo it, I just click on this, and I just already did undo, and I have an option to actually redo it. I can add it again to this. If I'm just saving this workbook, I can click on this save, and I can give some file or repository link for it to save it on your local desktop systems. So we talked about the data source, adding a data source and pausing the data source. Just click on the data source. It will be taking you to a new data source page, and this will give you all the options available to connect to your data source. This is a refresh icon, and these are the drop downs available for adding new workbook, new sheet, and new story. And these are the options available to actually clear some kind of a specific sheet or specific access or filters kind of thing. Swapping is basically swapping rows and columns like we saw. It actually took category onto the columns, and we can bring back to the rows by clicking on this again. Sorting is if I just add sales onto the view, and I'm just going to show me and making it a bar graph. So I'll just take one more subcategory. Let's take so many options so that it will be seen like this to actually sort it and see how the sorting works. And if I'm clicking on ascending, the smallest to the largest, it will look like this. And if I click on descending, it will come from the highest to the lowest. It is as easy as that to click on this in here. And to highlight a specific option, you can highlight it or based on the category or the fields, and it will also give you options to do this. And if I just click say subcategory and I'm just highlighting it, it will highlight this one. And you can also disable workbook highlighting and sheet highlighting over here. If we have mark labels, this will be coming up, and if we don't have mark labels, this will be grayed out. Let's click on the hide mark labels. Let's see that how Tableau hides the labels. If you see here, the labels are all gone, and if you want to bring them back, you just have to click on this labels and it will show you the labels. This one is also operated from here, the check mark over show mark labels, which we are using previously, and if you uncheck it, all the marks will be gone. I mean, all the labels will be gone. So the pin option is to fix the axis to whatever it is to a specific range, or if you want to show a dynamic, do not use the pin option. But if you want to fix the range to something, you can use the pin option. So we talked about the fitting of our view. Right now it is standard. It is only occupying the half of the view and half of the sheet. But there are cases like when you want to fit according to the width or height or the entire view. In this specific case, I want to fit this view to the entire graph so that my lines, whatever they're coming up, will not look clumsy and it will show the entire number neatly. If you just click on the standard, if you see here, If there is no enough space, if you can see here, this one is actually not coming up. See, because this is only because you are not having enough space so that the number will fit over here. This is also not coming. So if you make it to the entire view, what Tableau does is it will occupies the space and it will throw all the options available in the sheet, all the numbers. And this also depends upon your data. If it has too much of the data, even if it is not fitting in the entire view, it might not show all the numbers sometimes, but make sure that your view actually fits in this view. And this is about the entire data, and there are some cases where we might be wanting to see the data according to fit width or fit length. Let's say I'm just adding the product name over here, and it gave me the option to add all the numbers and filter and then add. I'm just adding all the numbers whatever I have in the data source. Okay, I just got the scroll button over here. So in this case, what is the best option for us to use is let's try with the standard, only occupies a particular part of the view. But if you just do, so we got a scroll from the top to bottom. What if we are using the fit height so that all the numbers are actually seen on the same view? See, if you see the change, all the rows you have seen are coming up and it actually fit the height according to the view, but you're not able to see anything, right? Or it actually fit the height to whatever space it has. This might not be a right option to use in this case, but if you do fit width, Tableau, what it will do is it adjusts according to the width, and you can actually see all the numbers in the scroll option over here. So in this particular in this scenario, we might be using fit width rather than a fit length, because the fit length will your all data come together and the numbers are not seen over there. And fit width is also used when you have so many dimensions on your row. Let's say I'm also adding the postal code, I'm also adding the region, etc. onto the my view. And what Tableau does is it will occupy the entire space, and the fit width is a better option in this particular scenario. So this is how you use this particular option to fit your views to the standard, or fit width or fit height and the entire view. So each view can give you multiple requirements so that you can act along with your requirement and use this option well over here. So if you just want to present this entire view in one format, you can click on this present view, and this Tableau will occupy the entire space just like a PPT, and you can share your slides with the users at the end. The entire Tableau tool basically replaces the PPT kind of version. Whenever you're projecting the data, you want to project the data dynamically. It even has a slideshow for you to present from the desktop app to the end users directly. To talk more about on the view page, we have different sections over here to talk about. We call this as what the subcategory is over here, and it is displaying it as a subcategory name, right? So we call it as a field label, and whatever you add, whatever column you're adding up over here in the rows and columns will be displayed according to the name, and the name is also showing up over there. We call it as field labels, and this one is actually picked up from this name, and whatever name you give it to a sheet name will be displayed over here. We call it as titles, but if you can also edit it by just double clicking on that, and you can name it anything you want. Just let's say category wise sales, and I just want to write it as category wise sales. I'll just write it here, click on hit on OK. So the name will appear here. We call them as titles, and you can give the titles to a sheet or a dashboard or the story in the same way. The other one we talked about, the marks. The marks actually represents the intersection of the fields. Let's say we can call this as intersection of tables, just like that X and Y axis intersecting them. We call it as marks whenever there is a dimension in the measure and they are interacting on X and Y axis. We call them as one point and mark. So if you're adding something onto the color, like imagine adding something up onto your color, and you get what is what over here and each color assigned to it. these are called legends, and this legends will explain in which color what you have, and you can add the legends on your desktop for without giving them any confusion. If you just give like this to the end user, they will probably think about what is red and what is yellow and what is blue, but giving a legend at the bottom or anywhere on the view will actually show them some understanding on what is what. And you have this is called axis, and axes are only formed for the measures because they have measures have numbers, right? So axes will only be coming up for the measures, and you can actually edit axis by clicking on right click on that, and you can edit axis from here. So we will quickly see on some minute understanding about how to hide the headers like that. This is a subcategory displaying over here, but we already know that this belongs to a subcategory. When there is a case that you already know what is that, you can actually simply hide by right clicking on it and hide field labels per row, and you can click on that. It will actually hide everything over here, and it will give you a clear view of whatever category you have it over here. It is only in the case of what you already know that the field contents you can use this. And we also have one more called a show header. Show header is basically this one. If you click on the show header, this will come up, but if you don't want to show the show header, you can actually hide it by clicking on the show header. Right now it is showing a blue tick mark, right? The blue tick mark will be gone and all the headers will be gone if you click on the show header. And you can also use the same thing by right clicking on here, and the show header will come up over here. The same thing, you just have to right click over here, or you just have to click over here, and it will show you the options. It's the same process too. In the same way, you can also hide the axes whenever you don't want to show them. Like if you're just displaying the mark labels, all the numbers are already seen over there, and we don't have a need to show an axis, right? So you just have to click on it, and you can actually hide the axis from here by simply clicking on this check mark box. This is also a show header, and this check mark will be gone, and if you click on this will be gone, and all the view will be occupying your entire space. To show the axis again, you just have to click on this pill, and you can click the show header over here, and your axis will come up again onto the view. Before moving to the analytics page, we just want to understand what is a pane and what is a table and what is a cell. So I just want to make you understand that before moving on to the next concept. So I'm just dragging, so I've got, let's drag order date here, and okay, let's make some thing on date here. So we have year and we have also quarter. I'm just removing the year part so it won't be multiplied. Let's say this is the year and this one is coming as quarter, and I also wanted to see the month. I will click on this plus mark, and it will replicate the hierarchy wise month to the table. So right now what we have is we have order date wise sales, and this one is showing the year, and this one is quarter, and this one the data is aggregated according to the month and also the quarter. So what is pane? Pane is this box. This entire thing is called a pane, and whenever you're dragging something onto the pane, and it will ask you whether you want to do it according to pane, cell or table, right? This one is actually called a pane. And what is cell? You can also compare with an Excel sheet. This one particular box is called cell, and it only displays one number over here. Table is kind of the entire table coming up, the whole table. In the same way, like we hided the axis and we hided the labels, right? In the same way, you can also hide the title of this entire sheet by just right clicking on it and hide title. You can edit title, hide title, and also format title. If you want to format, it will throw you options for shading, coloring and bordering, etc. By just clicking on the double click, it will throw you options to actually edit the sheet. But if you want to hide it, you just have to right click on it and hide the title. That's it. So we spoke about the options in the toolbar and what options we are available on the view and what is what in the view page. And moving on to our next one, the analytics page. I just want to create some table for our analytics view. Let's say the order date is there, right? So we can actually go with the region. Let's say we are looking at the region here and remove this quarter. So we are looking at the region-wise sales, and I am moving it into a bar graph. And this one is actually called side-by-side bar graph. That means this one is showing you the years and also the region, right? And the years are coming up here, and you're seeing according to the region. Let's tweak this graph a little bit. And let's see, I just want to look at region on the down and the year on the top. Let's make it that way. So region was gone here. Oh, came back. Let's tag region onto the columns. Yeah, we got it. So we are seeing the sales according to the order date in 2014 and according to the region what are the sales happened. And so right now for this view, I'm just going to the analytics pane, and I just want to drag average line onto my view. Just click on it and drag this average line. If you see here, you are able to see a table pane and cell option, right? So you can either drag to the entire table. So see, this is the average line you have got, and this is actually displayed for the entire table, and you wanted to change it to pane or cell, and you can actually change it over here. Just right click on that particular line and click on edit. It will be thrown to this the pop-up box will appear to actually change the average line to whatever you want. If you just click on the per pane value over here, this entire box is one pane and your average line will be calculated based on the year wise. Let's see, for 2014, for all the regions, this is your average. And if you're going with one cell, so for every line there will be an average, which is not a right requirement for this particular view. So you have to either go with pane or a table, because it takes all these four values and calculates the average. And what options do we have here is it will display the sum of sales average, and you can also show other aggregation formats, like you can display that complete panes total, that complete panes sum, constant, minimum, maximum, average, etc. Right now we actually selected average, and this one is to actually show a value or the computation you have used. The computation is basically this one, the computation or the custom value. You want to show something custom value over there. Right now I'm just going with the value, and it will show me a value of what is the average for that particular year and in that four regions. So what it is doing in the back end is it is calculating the average of central, east, south, west in only 2014. So what it will do, if I do the entire table, it will calculate the average of 14, 15, 16 and 17, all the values separately, and it will throw me an average of 143. But if you are selecting per pane, it will throw me an average of this particular pane, and it will take the values of these four values, and it will throw me an option of 121,062. So we have other option as well, and if you want to show only one line, it will show line, and if you want to show the line in the contents interval as well, you can show this option, and if you want to see the contents interval only, you can select this option. You can select the color and also the look of the line by actually making it to dotted or a solid line, or a changing of a color into a different thing. Most probably most of the companies will go with the red with the lines, because red actually highlights everything on the view, because we do have so many colors at the back end, so they will go probably with the red to highlight the average line. And we have an option, fill some colors on above the line and on below the line. Let's see that. If you're just selecting some color, fill above, see above that line everything is actually filtered to some color. We will get a light palette for this filling option because it should not dominate or hide the other views, right? So we will get a light palette for this, and if you just select on one color, it actually fills everything above that line. So the 4 options available here are a band wise. Band is a maximum and a minimum. Distribution is this one, 60% of the average and between, and it will actually distribute according to this option, 60 to 80. We have also got box plot, and this will show you the average of box plot like this. Right now it is not actually showing the box plot well because this data is not suitable for the box plot. Let's say we are going with an average line over here, and how do we do this average line? Per cell, per table, and per pane. And this is how you will be adding your lines to the view, and you will find other options also in the analytics pane, which we will be discussing in the coming sessions into a deeper depth of what analytics pane is and what it can do on your statistical side of analyzing also. So we will discuss deeper depth into that, and we will move back to our data pane right now. And yeah, this is what we have planned to learn in this week, and what we discussed is up to the analytics pane, the views, etc. So we will be saving our work progressively, and if you want to actually save all this content on your local system, you just click on the save button and it will ask you to save at particular location, and you can save your work. And whenever you are starting it again, you can open that particular Tableau desktop dashboard by just clicking on like normal apps. You just have to double click, it opens up, and you can start whatever you're doing today with the previous session. So moving back to our PPT, we're just done with our software demo on the analytics page, and this week what we have seen is the data and analytics page, and what is pane, and what are its options, what is data page, and how does the analytic page look like. And we have seen the toolbar, the menu, and what are the options available in the toolbar and how to use them. We have seen the show me option for the quick visualizations. We have seen a bar graph, different types of graphs which are there in the quick visualizations, and how to use them, and how to toggle between each visualization to the other if the view is not fitting up with our particular requirement. We have also seen the marks card, its types and properties. We have seen what are the available marks in the marks card, and which graph is showing what kind of marks card, and how to toggle between each marks card and tweak your visualizations to actually create some innovative visualization out of the marks card. We looked at the pages shelf and how pages shelf is used, and whenever you're going to use the pages shelf is for the time series graphs, and it will show all the animations present in the time series. It will connect to the lines, and it will throw an animation out of it. And we have seen these menus and toolbars available in the Tableau desktop. And we also saw how the analytic page is looking like, and what are the options, what are the lines available in the analytics page, and what is the difference between pane and table and cell, and what to use when, what are the options available in that particular line, etc. By this, we are going to ending this week's session, and let's see you again. Thank you.